Hello and welcome to the Undead Gaming News Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host, Zombie, and joining me is my co-host, Litchi.
Hello!
Our first story this week comes from Sonic Colors Ultimate, as it recently released and had a bunch of bugs and glitches. After a number of bugs and glitches were shared across social media, the social media manager for the game stated on Twitter, "Hey everyone, appreciate all your feedback on Sonic Colors Ultimate. The teams are listening and assessing for an upcoming patch. Thank you all for your patience." And then they followed up with, "We've seen some graphical issues that were caused by an emulator, which is out of our control. Trying to figure out which bugs are legitimate can really slow down the QA process. If you're having issues, please do flag them here." And then they linked a website, which is sega.com/support. What do you think of this?
I think the statement that obviously, some graphical issues we've seen caused by an emulator. How do you know it's an emulator? And if you're saying obviously because it's an emulator, you can't obviously fix it. That's fine. But you obviously know it's an emulator, so how can you not discern which one's an emulator and which one's the actual game? That doesn't really make much sense.
Well, I think they said that mainly just to reduce the amount of people who are sending in stuff from emulators, because obviously they can't do anything about the emulator. So they want to reduce the amount of clips and stuff that are completely irrelevant to the situation.
Yep. Can I add that the problem appears to be more on Switch versions of the game?
Yes.
Which I guess is to be expected, because obviously on other consoles apparently aren't having these problems. There will be like some cases of like PlayStations and Xbox and stuff probably still having the glitches, but it appears to be more common on the Switch. There don't appear to be anything game breaking though. From what I've seen, it's like the models are stretched. The game is still playable. It just doesn't look very nice.
Yeah, but obviously they still need to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's good that they're actually jumping on it pretty quick, because we do know some companies like to leave things. But also in the news, Star Citizen recently had some issues, as the British Advertising Standards Authority told the dev team, Cloud Imperium Games, to clarify that Star Citizen's concept ships aren't technically available yet, even though people can still pay real money for them. This comes after an email was sent out advertising a purple and silver ship known as the Gatic Raylan, and it was advertised with phrases such as "last chance to grab" and "act fast before it departs." But the team did later clarify that the ship will be available as playable content in a later patch, but obviously it wasn't available when they was advertising it. What do you think about that?
I think them damn dirty Brits need to stop messing with my video games. No, but one, they shouldn't really be going advertising something that's may or may not be in the game, but to be perfectly fair, that's the whole game. The game itself was a Kickstarter project. So, there's still a chance that the game itself may never actually come out. That's kind of the gamble you run when backing things on Kickstarter. So, it's more of the practice that obviously has gained to them that money anyway, that's promising something but not actually having to deliver on it.
Well, it's obviously a false advertising issue though, because you can't say it's a last chance to get something that doesn't exist.
Yes, but that is probably more commonplace than you think. Generally when games say, it's the last chance to be able to get this, you're obviously, like example, with pre-order bonuses, have like a limited availability. You have to buy it by this point, or obviously you can't get the pre-order bonus. That pre-order bonus does not, when they're bringing it out, does not currently exist.
But when you get the game, you're getting the pre-order bonus, so they always deliver.
Yeah, but there's nothing saying that obviously people who make Star Citizen wouldn't deliver. I'm just saying that they're not the only company that obviously promises something that doesn't currently exist, but may exist.
I didn't say they're the only one. They're the ones that got in trouble, though.
Yeah.
So they will have to alter their advertising, otherwise things might go further next time. But also in the news, Gary's mod has apparently sold 20 million copies. It was originally a Source Engine mod that allowed you to mess around with physics and models and props. It was released in 2004 before spawning a standalone product on Steam in 2006. And Gary Newman said in an interview in 2019 that the roleplay game modes are still a huge thing, but that in itself can encompass 1,000 other sub-game modes. So, what do you think about that?
I don't know, I think everyone's probably seen something of Gary's mod. The fact that it's taken this long to sell 20 million is a bit odd. If it came out in 2006 and it's only just getting 20 million now...
Well, it sold 10 million within its first 10 years, and now it's sold another 10 million, making it 20. So it's sold another 10 within less time than the first 10. And obviously Garry's Mod had a big surge of popularity on YouTube and stuff a few years ago.
No, it's still, obviously it's not completely died down. Obviously there was a surge of everyone playing like the prop hunt game modes, but like Gary says, the roleplay is a big draw for players. There's still a lot of active role-playing servers catering to different kinds of people. Well, obviously there'll be some crossover because there's Harry Potter roleplay servers, there's Star Wars roleplay servers,
just all the different fandoms.
There's also one called Dark RP, which allows you to play as characters such as hitmen, rapists, stuff like that. And then also has somebody who I think will also be like a mayor, the police. So that's more violent.
Lovely.
Caters to many different groups. And then obviously, other than the RP, you've got obviously the Prop Hunt, Trouble in Terrorist Town, which is a similar concept anyway. Except for obviously you're not physically an object, but it is obviously obviously it's basically hide and seek.
Well, yeah, you have to use a bit of deductions though, don't you?
You got to hide in plain sight, make sure no one knows that you're the guy with the bloody AK.
Exactly. But also in the news, we have Cookie Clicker, which has now become one of the most popular games on Steam. It was released on September the 1st on Steam, and currently holds the number 1 spot in the trending chart, and also sits in the top 15 most played games by concurrent users, with almost 60,000 users playing. There are also 500 achievements available for the game, if that kind of thing appeals to you. What do you think about it?
Don't know, it didn't take it very long. Been out a week, and now it's, the most popular game on Steam. I think currently, yeah, because it's literally just come out, but it's going to have probably a very steep decline.
Yeah, well, I expected it to get up there pretty quick, because obviously there's still a lot of people who are interested in playing it for whatever reason, and they've now got a bunch of achievements they can get for the game, so they can farm some achievements through that game. And obviously when something comes out, you're going to have a surge of players on it as soon as it comes out. And within the next few weeks, I will expect it to start falling down in the list of most played games.
Yeah.
Also in the news, we have Fallout 76, as it's decided to delay and then undelay a season, or the next season. Coming up to Season 6, a bug occasionally prevented players from getting remaining score rewards that they had spent real money to earn. Bethesda acknowledged that on September the 7th, and announced Season 6 would be delayed by 2 weeks as a result. In the meantime, they've also said that they would disable rank ups through microtransactions and work on fixing the problem and getting players their missing rewards. But then the next day, there was a lot of outrage from players demanding refunds, with one saying all Atom purchases from the past 7 days should be refunded full stop. And then Bethesda reversed their decision to delay Season 6 and released it on time as originally scheduled, along with a statement saying, "After further investigation, we have found that we can safely move forward with starting Season 6 as scheduled. We'd also like to express our sincere apologies to all of you in the community for any confusion or inconvenience our initial announcement may have caused, while we believed we would have to delay Season 6. To help make it right, we're going to kick off double XP and double score daily challenge events this weekend, starting as soon as the patch is live until 12 PM Eastern Time on Monday the 13th. What do you think about that?
I don't know, I think the players sound kind of entitled. Oh, this thing isn't working properly? Okay, we'll take more time and make sure it works for the next season. No, I want my stuff now! Like, you can't have it both ways.
Well, to be fair, they should get their stuff when they pay for it, considering it's real money they're paying.
But you will still get it. It's not as if they're saying, we'll keep your money, but we'll never actually bring this out. You just gotta wait a little bit longer for it. It's the same as when you pre-order something and that the release date gets pushed back. You wait a little bit longer for it.
Yeah, Bethesda only really has 2 options when it comes to stuff like that, and that's obviously refunding or making the rewards appear and giving them what they paid for.
Yeah, but then they're just going to complain, oh, this issue we obviously had with the last season, you haven't fixed it yet. It's like, you didn't give us a chance to.
Well, based on the fact that they decided to go ahead with Season 6 on time anyway, I would assume that they resolved the issue and are currently working on giving people what they've paid for, but I don't know.
We'll see.
Do you think Bethesda handled it correctly?
they should have just stuck to their guns rather than flip-flopping on, oh, this thing's not working, we're going to take a little bit more time to make sure that it works so our customers don't get screwed over. Oh, they're not happy that we don't want to screw them over, so fine, here it is, before we've had a chance to make sure you don't lose your stuff.
Yeah, well, hopefully everyone gets what they've paid for anyway, and it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Also in the news, we have Alan Wake Remastered. That's now been confirmed with a release date. The original was released in 2010 on Xbox 360 and PC, and it's now getting a full 4K remaster and will be released on Xbox One, Series X and S, PC, PS4, and PS5 in October. What do you think about that?
That I might actually have a chance to play the Alan Wake games. I think, I don't know when they came out, but I mean, if they're coming to more modern consoles, I might actually be able to play them. Because, I mean, I went to college with a person who, they loved Alan Wake, so obviously they'll probably be happy, but as someone who's never played the games, now I actually have opportunity to do so without having to get an old console just to play the games.
Yeah, it's a game that I've heard a lot of good things about over the years, but I've never had opportunity to play it because obviously it was only released on the Xbox 360 and the PC. But now that it's coming to the PS4 and the PS5, then obviously I'll get a PS5 version and actually play for myself. Also in the news, we have some Star Trek games that will become available to play on GOG.com. They partnered with Activision to bring back classic Star Trek games to its storefront, and the full list of games that they're bringing are Star Trek Bridge Commander, Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, Star Trek Elite Force 2, Star Trek Away Team, Star Trek Starfleet Command 3, Star Trek Hidden Evil, and they've also listed Star Trek Armada 1 and 2 as coming soon. Do you have any interest in Star Trek games?
No, I ain't a nerd. Star Trek just isn't for me. On the films I have seen, not a lot happens in the older ones. I don't know, I might have to pick up at some point with them coming out. They're being remastered, yeah? Or they're just...
No, they're just bringing the games to the storefront to be available to play again, because they weren't available anymore.
I don't know, maybe not then, because, like, older games tend to have more clunky controls, not as responsive, which also makes them not as fun to play.
Fair enough. I mean, Star Trek's not really been my thing either. Whenever a new Star Trek game has ever been announced over the years, I've just kind of passed it on because it's not my thing. I'm not interested in Star Trek, personally.
Yeah.
So none of the games have ever appealed to me.
I'm actually not, I don't tend to see, like, Star Trek games ever coming out. I think I saw, there's a Star Trek MMO, but I never actually got around to actually trying it. Because, I mean, like, sci-fi in general isn't really, like, my thing. Some sci-fi games I like. As a general rule of thumb, sci-fi isn't really my thing. And then obviously, with Star Trek being more, I don't think dull is the right word, but it's a lot, as far as I'm aware, it's a lot more politics than doing something.
Yeah.
To the case where I think Star Trek fans tend to be more cerebral than other fan bases.
Well, in other news, we have Epic Games, as they've decided to shut down House Party. House Party, of course, is a group video chat app which was originally created in 2016 and then purchased by Epic in 2019, but they've decided to shut it down with the statement, the House Party app will be removed from app stores immediately. Though people who already have the app can still access it, the service will have a full shutdown in October. What did you think of this?
I mean, to be perfectly fair, I had never even heard of the app before.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not a Zoomer. But I'd have to question as to why are they shutting it down?
Well, they've decided to remove the teams that are working with it and put them on other projects that the company has, such as Fortnite and other things. So I would assume that House Party is just not profitable for them, so they've decided to shut it down and then move that team to other projects. But if you're looking to grab a free game this week, then you can head over to the Epic Games Store and collect Neo the Complete Edition or Sheltered, and you have until the 16th to do so. Do either of those games interest you?
I keep looking at it, but as far as I'm aware, it is very reminiscent of a Souls game, which means I'm probably never going to finish it.
It is. And personally, I already have the Neo Complete Edition on PS4 anyway, because I played the demo, or the beta, for Neo 2 when that came out, and that was pretty good. So I thought I'd get the original and play through that at some point. I haven't got around to it yet.
Sheltered, I mean, it looks like a more upbeat version of... Do you remember that game, This War of Mine?
Yes.
It looks like a more upbeat version of that. Doesn't look as depressing. Yeah, that might be Might be a decent game to get. But obviously, rather than being like post-war, it's a nuclear apocalypse. So, like Fallout.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I like those kind of games. But if you're looking to pick up a game on the PlayStation Store this week, then on the 7th we had Bus Simulator 21 on the PS4, Fist Forged in Shadow Torch on the PS4 and PS5, Sonic Colors Ultimate on the PS4, Tanuki Justice on the PS4, and then on the 8th we had Struggling on the PS4. On the 9th we had Blood Rain Betrayal Fresh Bites on the PS4 and PS5, Glow on the PS4 and PS5, High School Romance on the PS4 and PS5, Hindsight 2020 Wrath of the Rakasha on the PS4 and PS5, Life is Strange True Colors on the PS4 and PS5, Save Your Nuts on the PS4, The Tourist on the PS4, PS5, Ultra Age on the PS4, then on the 10th we had Lost in Random on the PS4 and PS5, NBA 2K22 on the PS4 and PS5, Port Royale 4 on the PS4 and PS5, Tales of Arise on the PS4 and PS5. Do any of those interest you?
Oh, Fist, I believe, was that rabbit platformer that we looked at a few weeks ago, which platformers aren't obviously really my thing. Sonic Colors Ultimate we've already mentioned being a bit buggy at the moment.
For Switch users, yes.
Yeah.
But this is the PlayStation equivalent.
Yeah, but like I said, there's probably a low chance you'll have bugs and stuff on the PlayStation, but it is still possible. Blood Rain, I can't remember where Blood Rain is from. Did we talk about Save Your Nuts a couple of weeks ago?
We did.
Sounds familiar. But yeah, so I think some of these I might actually have to have a look at on the store or something later. Blood Rain, I've heard Blood Rain before, but I don't remember where is she from. And obviously, like Life is Strange, True Colors, I might play one day, but I still haven't even finished the first Life is Strange. Never mind the, Before the Storm, Life is Strange 2, then now we got Life is Strange, True Colors. I got an entire back catalogue to go through.
As far as I'm aware, Life is Strange True Colors is completely separate from the other ones.
Oh, yeah, but there'll probably be some kind of references for people who have played the previous titles, even if it doesn't obviously follow the same characters.
Possibly, but also in the news we have Sony backtracking on the Horizon Forbidden West PS5 upgrade decision. Originally, of course, Horizon Forbidden West was only available for a free PS4 to PS5 upgrade if you bought the digital deluxe edition, the collector's edition, or the Regala edition, and not the standard or special editions, but they've decided to make all editions free to upgrade from the PS4 to the PS5, so it doesn't matter which edition you get. You can still have a free PS5 upgrade if you buy it on the PS4. And they've also said that any future titles that are a PlayStation first-party exclusive cross-gen title, newly releasing on PS4 and PS5, both digital and physical editions will offer a $10 digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5, and it will apply to the next God of War, Gran Turismo 7, and any other exclusive cross-gen PS4 and PS5 title published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. What do you think about that?
I think Sony's been listening to me berate them and call them stupid. No, but yeah, they should obviously go back on that decision. It was a stupid decision.
Yeah, I'm glad they're making it free for every edition, so you don't have to spend extra money just to get the PS5 upgrade.
But is that going to be a timed thing? Like obviously last week I mentioned my example was the Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I was given obviously a free upgrade to the PS4 version, but I didn't have a PS4 at that point, and it only lasted. Basically the code had an expiration date, which was a bit naff.
Well, typically how it works, it doesn't have. The games don't tend to come with codes for upgrades or anything. It tends to be like you put the game into your PS5 and then you can go on the PlayStation Store and then claim a free digital version of that game on the PS5.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's how it's going to work with this as well, because obviously that's how it's worked with all the other upgrades in the past for the PS5. But what about the $10 thing for the future games?
That should be free.
Yeah, well, they've set themselves down a path now. They want to charge $10 for all future titles that are published by them.
I don't know. Let's see if they'll go back on this next week, after they realise again. Yeah, actually that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I doubt they'll go back on this one, but we'll see. I don't agree with it, personally.
Yeah.
If the PS5 version was released maybe a year after the PS4 version, then maybe, but since they're being released together, it should be free.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not really getting anything for my upgrade, so...
Also in Sony news, they've decided to acquire Firesprite Firesprite, of course, is known for the Persistence, the Playroom, and the Playroom VR. Herman Hulst said that Firesprite is a creative and ambitious studio that is exceptional at building incredible experiences that truly showcase the potential of our hardware. The team's technical and creative capabilities will be paramount in growing our stellar catalogue of exclusive games, and I think you'll be excited for what's to come. The development team currently has 250 employees, and the managing director explained how Sony allowed the team to explore their creative freedom, innovate, and release a survival horror game that they are immensely proud of. And now, as a first-party studio, they have the full support of PlayStation in furthering their heritage of combining creativity and technical innovation to offer some truly unique experiences for PlayStation fans. What do you think about this?
I thought they were already part of PlayStation, because obviously, yeah, they make the Playroom games, which are for the PlayStation. Obviously, the first one came out, and you had to have the PlayStation Eye. The second one comes out, and you have to have the VR headset. I thought those already worked for Sony.
Well, they collaborated with Sony, but they weren't owned by Sony, and now they're owned by Sony.
Yeah.
They had a good relationship with Sony because of the Playroom and the Playroom VR, so that's why they pitched their horror games to Sony, and it was accepted and published. But I don't know why they didn't work on Astrobot Playroom for the PS5, since they worked on the original Playroom and Playroom VR. But since Sony has acquired them, and Herman Hulst is basically saying that they're going to be using them for building experiences that show off the hardware, I'm assuming they're going to make another one that maybe showcases something else they're going to bring out. I'm assuming that they'll have them work on a game for the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Whether or not they'll have their own games that they'll do as well, I don't know.
I mean, there was also that they may be working on a spin-off for the Horizon series, like a VR spin-off. So possibly, maybe they just do like VR titles.
Well, the Playroom isn't VR. Playroom VR is.
Well, yeah, but the Playroom used the Eye, which was the first stage of the VR. They don't make traditional games. It's all about motion control stuff.
Maybe that's why they didn't work on Astrobot's Playroom then.
Wait, is that even out?
Well, yeah, it was released with the PS5. It was a launch title. Every PS5 comes preloaded with it.
Well, I've not played Astrobot's Playroom.
I have.
I played Bot Rescue, but that requires the VR as well.
Yeah, Astrobot's Playroom is the first foray of mine into the Astrobot games or the Playroom games, and it was also the first Platinum I got on the PS5, because obviously it's designed to show off what the PS5 can do, so that's why I went with that one first.
So it's not a party game like previous titles then?
No, it's a platformer.
Yeah, I think Astrobot Robot Rescue, that's a platformer. I just never finished that one. But the actual Playroom games have stuff that don't work unless you have multiple players, so you can't really get trophies for them unless you had another person to do it.
Yeah, well, Astrobot's Playroom is a single-player platformer, so you can do it all on your own, because you can't do it with anyone else. But it's full of references to PlayStation games and the history of the PlayStation. And if you want the Platinum, then you've got to collect all the hardware and stuff to go in the showroom. But also in the news, we recently had a showcase from PlayStation, and they started that off with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. What did you make of that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, watching it, I knew that there was going to be a remake of Knights of the Old Republic, but for some reason that didn't click while watching it. It's just obviously just a dark figure with a silver mask. I thought possibly it would have, maybe it's a sequel to, what's that last Star Wars game that came out?
Jedi The Fallen Order.
Yeah, I thought it would be a sequel to that. And then it pops up, Knights of the Republic. Oh yeah, that's coming out. So the guy in the silver mask will be Revan. It kind of ruins the twist in the game now.
Okay, I don't know what the twist is.
Not the trailer, just obviously. Because obviously it's a game that's come out before, you already know. Generally, most people already know what the end is, I guess.
Well, the people who've played it will, yeah.
But I've not played it, but I know what the twist is. I know what the decision you've got to make at the end is.
Well, I don't. I've not played it, and I've not watched it, so I don't.
Well, I've not watched it, but people constantly talk about it on other channels.
Not the ones I watch. Are you going to be getting it then?
Yeah, probably. I never got a chance to play them, the originals.
Well, the next game that they showed off was Project Eve. What did you think about that one?
It looks nice. Obviously, it's not a franchise I'm familiar with, because it appears to be the first in a franchise.
Yeah.
Although, I'm sure I've seen a game called Project Eve before. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of EVE Online, which was also, I think, a kind of Asian sci-fi. Obviously, that's an MMO, whereas this should be a single player.
Well, you might have seen Project Eve last year, because they did have a short gameplay trailer for it last year, but this is obviously giving a much better look at it. Is it something you're going to pick up?
Possibly, but I suspect maybe it might be another like Soulsy game, so I don't know whether I'd finish it. I'm just gonna have a collection of like Soulsborne games. It's like, oh, I've defeated the first few bosses and then just never actually finished them.
Well, I'm going to pick that one up anyway, see what it's like. Next up in the showcase was Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so you got to see that again, because obviously we saw that in the State of Play earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Is it something you're interested in?
Yeah, Tiny Tina's like one of the best characters in Borderlands.
I'll have to take your word for that, because I've never played Borderlands.
You played Borderlands with me?
Well, I played a little bit of the first one, or one of them.
Yeah, we played number 2 together.
Number 2. I've not finished a Borderlands game. I don't know who Tiny Tina is. It's not a universe I'm familiar with.
Well, this is just basically, obviously, they had a DLC for Borderlands 2 where they play a in-universe version of Dungeons and Dragons called Badasses and Bunkers. This appears to be like an entire game based around that concept, where Tiny Tina is your dungeon master, and you're obviously playing through this fantasy story in a Borderlands game, and your characters actually are, cause like in Borderlands 2, I played Maya, and so I was basically the mage in the fantasy world, whereas I'm a siren in the normal one. But I'm basically the exact same character. I look the exact same. Whereas the characters you play as appear to actually be styled around that fantasy setting. Like, one of the characters that they show appears to be, looks like maybe an orc warlock or something.
Okay. Well, I'm probably going to have to play through the Borderlands before I actually play that, because that way I'll actually have an understanding of who Tiny Tina is, and maybe appreciate the game more.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's confirmed to be released in March next year.
You won't need to play Borderlands 3 though, because in Borderlands 3, Tiny Tina isn't Tiny Tina, she's an adult. Whereas obviously in this, Tiny Tina's still Tiny Tina the child.
Okay.
So obviously this happens between 2 and 3.
Noted. Next up we had Forspoken. What did you think of that?
Oh no, it looks like an alright like RPG. You know, the story obviously of someone from obviously our universe ends up in this magical world, similar to like the Chronicles of Narnia or Peter Pan. Well, Peter Pan doesn't really have magical powers, but so more like Narnia, I guess. You go in and now you have these powers. Is her goal, like the Wizard of Oz, just literally to get home, and then she ends up actually giving monkeys about the world and then saving it? Is probably what I expect from her.
Well, I don't know. But the game, of course, was originally revealed last year with the title Project Athia. Then they changed the name to Forspoken.
That does sound familiar.
And now we have a much better look at the game, and the combat looks pretty good. It'll be coming in spring next year.
It looks like a well-made RPG. Obviously new IP.
Yes.
So you can't go in there knowing any of the lore about anything. Completely new.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. Will you be picking it up?
Probably.
Next up they had Rainbow Six Extraction, which we've seen before. What did you make of that?
Well, I knew there was making another Rainbow Six game. Didn't really expect them to be like these, like, the people obviously facing, like, these monsters or alien things. Because normally, like, every other Tom Clancy game, it's just, you're a human, you fight other humans. Whereas this time, you're actually fighting monsters.
Yeah.
So, what is it, like, I've never read any of the Tom Clancy novels. Is there one about, some kind of alien apocalypse or a monster, a virus that turns people into monsters or something?
I don't know. I've never read them either. But for anyone who is interested, it's coming in January next year. Is it something that you're interested in?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be. It's very similar to Rainbow Six Siege, meaning it'll be a multiplayer game probably, and I don't really have that team anymore. They've obviously gone on to do other things. So I don't know that it'd actually be at the top of the list. It might be something I would get, and then whenever we have time to all get together, we can actually play it. But I don't think it'd be something I would play a lot. To be fair, me saying that is then kind of ironic, because anyone who obviously has watched or listened to this podcast before knows I play a lot of Dead by Daylight, which also is obviously a team-based game.
Yes, and you tend to play that on your own most of the time.
I do. I don't like randoms.
You still play with them anyway.
I don't have a choice.
Next up they had the Alan Wake Remastered, which was confirmed to have an October 5th release. And then they had GTA 5 again.
Yeah.
And they advertised that, saying that they're going to be bringing 4K graphics and seamless character transitions, as if anyone even plays the story anymore. Obviously GTA Online will be coming with it.
The question is, do I get... Because, basically, if you own the set, that if you own Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4, you get a free update, a free upgrade. Well, you get a timed free upgrade to be able to get the GTA Online on PS5. Now that they're bringing the actual single player as well, is that included in that free update, or is it only the online we can get for free and I have to re-buy the actual base game?
Well, from the look of it, the story and the online come as a package deal, so I would assume you get both of them together as your upgrade.
I mean, you say that, but obviously they could do what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2, in that there's a separate Red Dead Online from Red Dead 2. So I have Red Dead Online PS5, but I don't have Red Dead 2 for PS5.
Okay, well, I mean, even if they did that with GTA 5, it wouldn't really be a problem because, as I said, people aren't really playing the story anymore anyway.
Yeah.
I've played the story, I've beaten the story, I've got the story on 2 different consoles. I don't really need it on a third.
I've got it on 3.
Why?
I got it obviously on PS3 when it came out.
Yeah.
I finished the story on it. I might have finished the story on it twice. Then I think I got it on Steam because I wanted to try GTA RP, and I'm still not entirely sure if I even need Grand Theft Auto 5 for that. Like, does it use the game's files? Because obviously GTA RP, the models are the same as Grand Theft Auto Online, so surely it's must be like some kind of add-on to the game. But then I never actually got onto GTA RP, thus meaning I've not really played it on PC, and then I got it again to be able to play with people again.
Well, the PS5 version of GTA 5 will be coming in March next year, for anyone who's interested. The next one that they showed off was another look at Ghostwire Tokyo. What did you think of that one?
I sat there like, I know what this game is, but I couldn't for the life of me remember what the bloody name was.
I knew it instantly.
Like, it's Ghost something. It's Ghost, and there's Tokyo in there. But I'm pretty sure it's not Tokyo Ghost, it's not Ghost Tokyo. It's something like that. But I just couldn't figure it out. But yeah, that would be... Yeah, I mean, it still looks decent to play. It's obviously not the first time we've seen the game. But did we get a release date?
Spring next year.
The only other time, though, obviously, I've played a game when you walk around Tokyo. It's not really filled with like ghosts and demons and stuff, so it'd be a unique way of walking around that district.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like on the TV screen, there's like a guy in like an Oni mask. Like, what's his deal?
Well, he seems to know what's going on.
He unleashed these spirits on me.
I'm assuming story-wise you would have to eventually unmask him and find out what's happening.
Yep.
But that's still definitely on my list to get. Next up they had the Guardians of the Galaxy again. What did you make of that?
I'm sure that the game itself will be fine. I mean, I would have preferred obviously the characters look like more like their counterparts from films.
But that's the whole point. It has nothing to do with the films.
I know it doesn't, but I've never read any of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and a lot of people obviously only know the Guardians of the Galaxy as those characters from the films. So looking at least somewhat similar would have been good.
It would have ran them into legal issues, because then the actors could say, that character looks like me and I didn't authorise that.
We'll get authorization from the actors then. I mean, I had this issue with the Avengers game they brought out. I think the Avengers game they brought out, they all looked familiar, whereas these look kind of like the characters, but not quite the same characters. I mean, obviously, Groot and Rocket Raccoon, okay, he looks like a tree and he looks like a raccoon. It's not really a unique thing you can really do with that. Drax isn't too bad. I mean, he's probably a little thin. I don't know, I saw him looking very, very like Kratos, and I think without a shred of doubt, Kratos could kick this guy's ass. I want an even fight.
Well, I mean, Drax isn't a god, so obviously Kratos could kill him easily.
Well, I mean, Kratos didn't start off as a god.
No, but he kills gods. So if he can kill gods, then he can definitely kill someone that's not a god.
Drax could probably kill a god. There are gods in his universe.
Is it a game that you're looking forward to?
I mean, not as much as I was with the Avengers, because I actually knew the Avengers. Whereas, like I said, the only way I know Guardians of the Galaxy is obviously the films, and there was also that Telltale game about Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think this version looks more like a Telltale version than it does obviously the films. But I don't like Peter Quill. I don't feel he looks really like Peter Quill.
Well, have you read the comics?
He doesn't look anything like Peter Quill that I've seen.
It's a game that I'll try out at some point. It's not high on my list though.
But yeah, they're desperate to redeem themselves after the Avengers game.
Yeah, that was a train wreck. But the Guardians of the Galaxy will be coming out on October the 26th. And then next up was the Vampire Masquerade Blood Hunt. What did you make of that?
I mean, it's not exactly Bloodlines, but yeah, looks pretty good. Very violent.
Yeah.
I don't know, it is vampires and violence, but what more do you want?
Well, I thought it looked pretty good until I looked it up and realised what it was.
Why?
Because it's a Battle Royale game.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll skip that one. But for anyone who is interested in it, we don't really know when it's coming, it just said 2021. So, anytime this year. Next up, they had Deathloop. Again, I wasn't really sure why this one appeared, because they've already done a lot of promotional material for this game, and it comes out on the 14th of this month. We've talked about that game before. It's something I'm going to be getting, but it doesn't really seem to be your kind of thing. Is that right?
No, it's another like Dishonored-esque game.
Yeah, but you're stuck in a game loop. That's the thing you don't like.
I mean, to be perfectly fair, how do you know we're not in some kind of time loop? They keep on bringing out the trailer over and over and over. How do you know we're not in a loop?
Well, maybe that's the whole point.
No, I just don't like the fact that it's a stealth game, but I don't like the fact that the point is to think about your actions before you do them. I'll play methodically. I mean, if shit hits the fan, yeah, I'll just slaughter everyone, but the idea is obviously you're not supposed to get caught, but I don't like the fact that I've then also got somebody who's then stalking me. So before obviously I've got to very quickly enact my plan, to be able to outpace the person who is trying to kill me.
Well, I'm going to be playing it, hopefully, when it comes out, and I'll have to see how it is with that whole thing, with the person that's hunting you and everything, see how it actually works. But then next up they had Kid Amnesia Exhibition. What did you think about that?
I don't know, you can't really say a lot, because the clip was like 5 seconds?
Yeah, it was very short.
Okay, so, horror game, kid, maybe some amnesia. Exhibition maybe tells me, I don't know, maybe you're in some kind of lab, or like a zoo thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in the SCP lab. There's like all these different exhibitions of the different monsters.
Based on the fact that it was a very short look at it, I thought it's probably not going to be very far into development, because usually when they're far into development they have more to show. But it's coming in November, so I think they should have shown more, so we have a better understanding of what exactly it is.
Who was making it?
It's a collaboration between Radiohead and Epic Games.
Like Radiohead the band?
Yes, because they released a song with the same title ages ago. But next up we had Cheer. What do you think of it?
I mean, obviously I'm not his target audience.
Okay, not on your list then.
Nah, but I mean you got to put something in there for the kids, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Get them off them fortnights.
I did notice that they took an idea from The Last of Us 2 though.
Wait, what?
The guitar playing bit with the wheel and the notes. That was in The Last of Us 2.
To be fair, when that shirt popped up, I expected it to be a game about teaching you how to play the bloody guitar. Which, in a manner of speaking, is correct. It does have a mini-game in the overarching game. But yes, that mini-game, I think, was also in Last of Us 2.
It was. It was something that popped up in the story, as well as being a mini-game that you could play whenever you wanted in a certain level, for as long as you want.
Well, maybe there's a story reason why this person plays the guitar, and maybe they like the idea of actually displaying the notes and actually showing you how to actually play a bloody guitar.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, I recognise that from The Last of Us 2, and that's probably where they got the idea from. Well, that'll be coming to the PlayStation in 2022 for anyone who's interested. And then next up they had Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy remastered for PS5 and PC, which will be coming early 2022. What did you think when you saw that?
I mean, I already knew that there was bringing the Uncharted to, obviously, PC. But yeah, it's getting remastered, but to be fair, I mean, I literally own, 1 to 4, but I haven't even finished the first one.
Well, I've finished all of them.
I know you have. I watched you do it.
Yeah. Well, after that, they had a very short tease for a new Marvel title, Wolverine, being developed by Insomniac, of course. What did you think of that?
I don't know, I'm interested to see what they can do with it, because obviously it's not going to be as light-hearted as Spider-Man. It's got to be more dark and gritty to really capture Logan's story.
Yeah.
So possibly you'd maybe just facing villains from the Brotherhood. Although, I mean, Logan's on his own, so maybe this is before he joined the X-Men.
Possibly. Obviously, in the trailer, all we see is him drinking at a bar, about to be attacked, and then he draws his claws.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like Logan on any given Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see exactly what part in the timeline that game's set.
Yeah.
But next up they had Gran Turismo 7, which will be released on March 4th, 2022. What did you think of that?
It looks nice, but pure racing games aren't really my thing.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to if you're playing with other players, because then you got to deal with other players not knowing how to drive, just smashing into you. It's like, this is not how you do a race.
Well, Gran Turismo always prides itself on essentially being a driving simulator to teach you how to drive as well. So, because obviously you've got to worry about speed and traction and all that kind of stuff.
Does it also mean I get to burn a slow and fiery death when Noob Killer 69 smashes into me?
I don't think they go that far with it. But following that, they had another Marvel trailer, and this time it was for Spider-Man 2.
Marvellous.
Which of course is also being developed by Insomniac, and will be released in 2023. What did you think of that?
Oh yeah, that was marvellous.
Clever.
Do you think it would possibly have co-op? Because it has both Peter and Miles.
Well, so did Miles Morales.
I thought Peter goes away and leaves Miles.
He does, but at the start they work together, and then obviously Pete goes on holiday, and then he comes back at the end.
Yeah, but obviously this will be a game built from the ground up with the two of them. So do you think it would possibly have some form of co-op?
I mean, it's possible, but I think possibly they also might just do what they did with Miles Morales and obviously develop more onto them working together.
Yeah.
But it's the first time we got a look at Venom.
Yeah, I know. How did they do a Spider-Man game with no Venom?
Well, I knew it was coming.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the first one and then Miles Morales was a success. They would be stupid not to bring another one out.
I meant Venom, specifically. I knew he was coming. The final game that was showcased was a game that everyone was hoping would be in there. Everyone was looking forward to. It's, of course, God of War Ragnarok. What did you think of what they showed?
It's a juxtaposition from the last game, where you had Atreus going, "Oh my god, Dad, why are you so serious and angry all the time?" Whereas this one, his dad's just like, "Look, there's no point in fighting wars and shit. Violence is pointless, you know?" And then Atreus is like, "No, we gotta fight." It's like the complete opposite to what you had in the first game.
Atreus has also hit puberty in this one.
Okay.
Well, he's not a squeaker anymore, is he? His voice has changed.
Has it?
Yes. I don't know how you didn't realise that.
I mean, they should be right after the end of the first one, though.
Well, you don't know how much time passes, do you? He might still be high-pitched at the beginning of the game, we don't know. What did you think of the dog sledding?
I mean, it's different, but I don't know, dude. Did they have dog sleds in, Norway?
Well, they might have done it at some point.
I don't know.
I'm assuming it's a game you'll be picking up when it comes out.
Can I just ride Fenrir? I know that wouldn't make sense, but can I just ride Fenrir?
No, not allowed.
Why is his dad not going to like me?
Possibly.
Then I'll just call him boy. Tell him sit down.
I'm assuming he's still going to call Atreus boy, even though he's becoming a man now. But that was obviously the final game in the PlayStation Showcase. And then it moved on to an interview instead.
It did. Did you watch that?
I did. What kind of stuff have you been playing this week then?
This week, to be honest, I've played some Dead by Daylight.
Of course.
Pinhead's out now.
Oh, he's actually in the game now, is he?
Yeah, I've not bought him though.
So, other than Dead by Daylight, what else have you played?
I think I played a little bit of Valhalla. I've played some of that Predator game. I think I played a match. And then yesterday I also went on Red Dead Online, because the new pass is out, so I'm going to have to do that again. And I also went on again. Basically, it feels a lot like Warhammer Vermintide, or I guess kind of like Left 4 Dead.
Okay.
The objective is basically you are just playing as like Robin Hood and his merry men. Basically, the characters are all named after those characters. They all have there's different classes, so they can do different things. I played some of that. What have you been playing?
I've been playing Sackboy Big Adventure, and I finished it. And then I had a look at the trophies to see what was needed for the Platinum and decided that's not going to happen. So I installed the Medium, and I'm going to start that next instead.
Yeah, but are you going to play it on medium difficulty or hard difficulty or easy?
Well, I'm not going to start it on hard, am I?
Yes.
No, it's not what I do.
Some people do.
Well, I don't.
Okay, Mr. Dark Souls. I don't like hard games.
There's no point making a game harder on yourself. It's plain and simple. I only tend to play games in hard mode if there's a trophy for it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of hard mode for the sake of it. Like, okay, so I have to try harder, but I don't get anything else out of it. Like, years ago, I played Diablo 3, and as I played through the story, I would increase the difficulty, because I would put it to the point where I can't handle shit anymore, and then just obviously put it at difficulty down. So as you get better gear, I can then handle worse things. So it got to a point where, and for each level you go up, it increases the amount of gold you get and the amount of XP. So by the time I finished the game, I was up to a point where I'm earning 20,000 extra gold and XP just for playing it on stupidly hard mode, which isn't actually stupidly hard because of the gear I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of games is literally just complete this game on hard mode and we'll give you this trophy. But I have to question. See, I'd like having platinums, but is it worth suffering through that game on hard mode to get that trophy? Do I have time for that?
Well, that's like Greedfall for me. That was a game I was trying to platinum at one point, and there's a trophy for getting in through the game on hard mode. So I started the game on hard mode on my second run through it, and it was going alright until I got to a certain point where I have to fight this boss that's able to kill my teammates pretty quickly and then slap me twice and I'm dead. So I kind of gave up on it, and I moved on to something else, and I thought I'll go back to it at some point, but I don't think I will, because there's more stuff that's coming out that needs to be played, and then it's just too much to do.
Yep.
But that just about does it for this week's episode. If you have any thoughts on anything we've discussed this week, leave them in the comment section below, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.